Hey everybody, how's it going? Let's talk about your home recording studio. Today I'm on location right outside of where my future studio is going to be. I have kind of a spooky story to share, and I figured the ambience here between the reverberant sound and the maybe spooky lighting. I don't know, maybe it's just really crappy lighting. But I figured it might kind of set the stage. It's Halloween time, so I wanted to share a spooky story that really only fellow audio nerds will really find scary at all. So about a month ago, I'm at home alone, me and the dog, and I decide to settle in and watch a movie one night. I decide on Andy Weir's The Martian. And as I'm watching, I could just tell that the sound didn't sound right. It sounded weird, and I just kind of assumed that it was the encoding of the audio of the movie trying to do something fancier than what my soundbar was capable of reproducing. So I was hearing a kind of like a phase thing. If you've ever recorded like a mid-side mic recording, where you have a figure 8 mic that's picking up the sides, and then you have a cardioid mic that's picking up the mid, and in your DAW or some hardware, you take the side mic and you duplicate it and pan them left and right. And then you invert the polarity on one side, and then you bring that up at low levels below that cardioid center, and it gives it a bit of ambience, kind of a cool stereo kind of sound. But if you've ever listened to just those side mics alone or turned them up too loud, if you hear it like I do, it's just a weird, uncomfortable sound when your left ear and right ear are picking up something different at the same time based on the same signal. It's just uncomfortable. I don't know how to describe it. And that's the way this movie sounded. And I spent the entire movie fiddling with the settings on the soundbar and hardly paid attention to the movie at all. Went to bed that night and didn't really think much about it. Figured I'd deal with the soundbar some other day. So I woke up the next morning and I was almost completely deaf in my right ear. It took a little bit of kind of playing around with it. If I'd plug up my other ear and listen just through my right ear, I realized any sound below about maybe 2,000 hertz or 3,000 hertz was just gone. And as you can imagine, being an audio enthusiast, just like a lot of you, that's pretty scary. That's a very terrifying thing to wake up to just a sudden overnight, just like somebody flipped a switch, and now one of my ears does not work correctly. So I gave it about 24 hours just to see if it was, it would get better, and it didn't. So I got into the doctor, and a general practitioner or family practice doctor is just not really equipped to deal with anything very complicated with the ear. So she at least just took a look, and a moth didn't fly in there or something. It would have been almost relieving if that was it, and they could have just instantly fixed it, and I could have walked away with my hearing restored. So she referred me to an ear, nose, throat, and audiologist. So it took about a month to get in to see that doctor. In those intervening weeks, my hearing in my right ear actually did improve over time. It was a little different every day, different weird and annoying things. For the most part, it was just that no low frequency hearing out of that ear. Day by day, I kind of gained a little bit and a little bit and a little bit more until, today, it seems to be pretty much normal. Except when just through this ear, when I listen to anything, I can hear kind of like a false note, like a secondary note. Like when somebody speaks, I can hear this additional note below that sounds kind of monotone and robotic. And so by the time I got into the specialist, he examined my ears and all the crevices, all the cavities, and he's like, everything looks fine. And the fact that it has gotten better, and just that day was the first day that I'd woken up and felt like my hearing was pretty much normal. My ear didn't feel clogged, things didn't sound weird, and I was no longer hearing that kind of false note below people's voices. And the specialist basically said the best thing to do in this scenario is nothing. As part of that, they sent me into the little soundproof room, the little anechoic chamber, and I did a hearing test. I hadn't had a hearing test since I was in grade school, I don't think. And being that I'm pushing 50 now, I know that as all of us age, our hearing it's just a fact of life. Our hearing just gets gradually worse and worse over time. And when they showed me the results of my hearing test, my hearing came back as excellent. He said it's well above what they normally would see when somebody walks into an ear, nose, throat or an audiologist. You go there because you're having problems with your ears. And so to hear that from a doctor was very reassuring, and to see the chart on paper of my left and right ear. And yeah, my right ear, there are some lower frequencies that still just aren't quite as sensitive, but they're still above the threshold of what would be considered a problem. So I feel like, all in all, I'm very lucky. There was no incident that prompted this that I know of. My best guess is it was some sort of allergy or allergic reaction, or, we're moving to the Midwest after several years in the mountain zone, and it's just a whole new set of allergens, and it's been very dry here, so there's a lot of dust and pollen and who knows what blowing around on the wind right now. It's windy and dry, and a bunch of unfamiliar allergens in the air. That's just kind of my best guess of what the heck happened. It wasn't like I was out at the artillery range and then woke up deaf the next day. There was just no reasonable incident that would have prompted just sudden overnight hearing loss. I feel very fortunate that it has been restored and things are basically back to normal. And I also feel very reassured after seeing and taking a hearing test and hearing it from a specialist that, hey, my hearing is above average. And a guy that takes a lot of pleasure in my spare time, even though I don't make a living at audio, but it's such a huge part of my life. And creating music and playing music and mixing music and listening to music and critically considering music and making all those decisions about certain frequencies and how loud things are. The ears are, of course, paramount there. And I figured I would just kind of share this story with you, just in the hopes that somebody out there kind of needs to hear it. And you hear people like to preach about this quite a bit, and take care of your ears, they're the only set you get. If you ruin them, you're SOL. You can't, well, it's highly unlikely you could repair them, and you certainly can't just go get a new set. And so take care of them. I know you need to hear it. I need to hear it. Some of us, I know it's easy to get carried away, and at times we are not very kind to our ears. But hopefully, just hearing a story about a scary incident will at least kind of remind you next time you got your hand on the volume knob, like maybe keep yourself under control before you crank it up too much. All right, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching. And I think that'll do it for me this time, and I'll see you again next time.